Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is Ryan, and this is Unreal World, and we are back today with another episode. As you can see, I have kind of settled in here at this location. So, if you are new to this series, the goal here is to take out the purple guys, the Njerpez, as I pronounce it, which is probably wrong, but there we go. And here we are, deep involved already in that task. As you can see, we've taken out 7 different villages already. And we have, obviously, we have removed the culture now from these areas, but be rest assured that this was hostile villages. So there's a link to the playlist down below in the description if you want to start all over from the beginning and watch us take this out. Feel free, my friend. And we are going to continue today. I think today's episode, though, instead of attacking, we are going to spend a little bit of time checking our loot and moving some of our loot. But at the same time, we'll be looking at it, kind of figuring it out. I have sorted out a few different spots. Let's go back to the map real quick. Now you can see the yellow X's are sites that we still have not attacked, and I need to obviously hit. But that's not today, not yet. We will in the near future. We need to actually go in and explore a lot more territory. But before we do that, we've got to get prepared for our next big trading trip. So let's see. Over here, I've got where we're at. I've got a tag for loot because there's a lot of loot at this location. Plus, my dogs and my bulls are tied up here. And we've got loot at this location. There's loot at this location. Oops, and if I go over, you can see that this one and this one also have loot. So the only two that really don't are these on the very edge we've managed to move. So, like I said, I think the goal today is kind of to go back to some of those other villages, take my bulls with me. As you can see, I've got a bodyguard here. He was just an adventurer I hired. There's actually two, but that guy right there, he's inside the dog pen. I don't know what he's doing. But he won't leave. He just stays in the dog pen now. I don't know. He's a weirdo. He loves to play with the dogs. But if you look closely, and I unfortunately can't zoom in anymore, but believe me when I tell you that the dogs are now doing okay. I've got them all unleashed, and they're in this pen. This was previously a sheep pen, which I butchered all the sheep and fed them to the dogs. And I've also brought a bunch of bones. We won't talk about what kind of bones they are right now, but I did bring a whole bunch from one of the very first attacks. So they've got a lot of good food now, and I mean, they can eat bones. Also, if you look closely, there is some meat under some of their feet here. That's probably left over from the sheep because it's raw. I didn't cook it, but they should be okay. Now, like I said, I want them to rest a little bit. I'll probably pull a few of them out there when we go to get some loot just for protection, but I want them to go ahead and get food. Yeah, Doom looks like he's ready to fight. Some of them are injured though. See, you can see Poggers, he's still got a bruise, so he needs more time to eat and rest. Although a lot of them are looking pretty good. And you can see none of them say they're starved, which isn't really that big of a deal. Oh, he's okay, he is starved. So let's tell Kevin here to eat. But if you want them to heal up, then you do want to give them food and a bit of time to just hang out in a nice little pen like this. I mean, I think they'll still heal if you just tie them to a tree and drop food or bones at their feet. But I like the pen. You can see it's nice and full. Wish that idiot in the middle would get out of there. But down here, I've set up all the loot right next to this area. I just put it outside. I don't think it's going to hurt it at all. But so this pile is for all the swords and tools and weapons and ammo that I've accumulated from like the last two villages. Not all of it. No, just some of it. We're going to go get the rest of it today. But we've got a rough scimitar, northern spear, tons of good stuff. 8 broad knives here. So this is very valuable. 82 arrows in that one pile right there alone. 6 hunting knives. All right. This is the pile of clothing. And like I said, this is just from about 2 villages here. All right. You can see I've also got some rope and stuff down here, but there is just a ton. Oh, there's actually a couple of pieces. Like we got knitted apron, the shin guards. They're untouched. They're unscratched. I'm pretty sure there's a fully untouched helmet somewhere around here. Where did I drop that? But I swear that maybe it's in one of the other villages. We got to go pick it up. But this is the spot where I'm keeping all my furs. As you can see, we've got a lot. 2 bear furs right there. Freaking 2 elk furs. And we got some of the smaller things, which is very good. Actually, 3 elk furs I'm looking at. Yeah, but the smaller ones, four elk furs. The smaller ones are good for kind of like when we go trade with the foreign traders, the little guys in blue capes you see occasionally. That's super helpful to have those like a just a whole list of different kinds of furs. Gives you more options when you're bartering. Okay, but first things first, let's go ahead. I've got the bulls now. Like I said, I'm going to pick out a couple of healthy dogs. Let me look who's in front of me. Doom's good. Oh, you know what? I need to get my leashes. I don't know. How many do we want? We'll take 4. That's a formidable amount of dogs. Whoops. No. All right, so let me leash up 4 dogs real quick. All right, well, I have managed to get 4 healthy dogs. A couple of them are hungry, but that's okay. That makes them more ferocious, right? Actually, I don't think it does, but anyway, we can role play. And I managed to get the one guy out of the dog kennel somehow, just messing around in there. I think he was too packed in. I think he was literally squeezed between the dogs. Man, oh man, he's either a really small guy or they're like mastiff size or bigger. All right, well, I'm going to tell them to go ahead and eat real quick. Give them all nice little order. They give me a happy look back. Okay, and it's time. Yes, we are going to leave them all behind, but they're safe. They're in the pen. As long as you don't leave your site while you're standing in the pen, they won't get loose. So just don't stand in the pen and leave the site. Trust me, once you do it accidentally and lose all your dogs, you'll learn that lesson. But anyway, so the point is today we are going to go around to these 4 other villages that are marked with X's. Not the one we just left. That's going to be our home base for now. And we'll probably move it a little bit more towards the center once we get further in. But for now, that's good. So let's hit up this one that's closest. Actually, no, let's do the exact opposite of that. Let's go to the farthest 2 over here. We'll see what's worth picking up at these locations. Okay, and we have arrived. Let's step into the village. Of course, it's totally safe here now. There's nothing but ghosts. Oh, one of the adventurers will be leaving soon, but that's okay. Don't need to worry about them. They're just kind of muscle. We're not. I picked them up just because, hey, look at this. The bodies have all withered away, and it's done a lot of the work for me now. I can just clearly see where all the loot is. Yeah, that's nice. I don't have to guess if some of the bodies have been stripped yet or not. So what I'm going to do is probably go and police all this up. I like to drop it into multiple piles. That allows me to see what we've got going on. Also, we're getting a bunch of good bones again for the dogs, too. So there's a knife. Yep. A lot of stuff here. I'm picking it all up. Actually, no. Okay, so that was the pile I couldn't pick up. So there's about 4 or 5 more piles. I should probably, yeah, I see one in the building too. I was going to say I should check the buildings. What I'll do is I'm just going to drop it right outside here, right in the open. So like I said, I'm going to separate all the clothing in one pile, and then I'll go through and I'll separate all the knives and weapons and tools, and then we'll take a look at what we want to put onto our bulls. Okay, well, I decided not to take the human bones. I've left a big pile of them right here, all the ones I picked up, just because we've got a bunch already at home. Plus, there's several bodies that are still decomposing at that current site, which will turn into bones. But nonetheless, we got more important things to carry. So, just from this village, here's the tools and weapons, which is pretty good. It's not that heavy, and there's a lot of good options here, like broad knives and axes and stuff. So those are good for trading. Now, of course, this is where the real gold mine is in the clothing, and there's so much of it. There's a few really good pieces here too. So what I've started to do now is I look at the weight column. I ignore the name and I ignore the wear and tear. If it's over, first of all, my first pass, so to speak, I'll look for anything over a pound. So this is something I would probably pick up. Let me not pick them up. What I'm going to do is actually start to push this onto my cow or my bull. So I'm going to go through, look, like I said, down the weight column. That's a 3-pounder. There's 2. There's a 4-pounder. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's rough quality, if it's leather, fur, nettle even. I'm going to kind of avoid nettle, but that one's even under. So 5 pounder, that's good. 3.5 pound. And let's see, fine woolen. So keep going, keep going. Now we will look, like I said, this is just the first pass. Once I push this onto the bowl, if he's got more room, we'll go back through. Look at this, 24.5 pounds. Yeah, we'll go back through and make sure we get anything that's in the pound range that might be valuable too. Especially if it's metal, if it's like an armor piece, even if it's pretty damaged, most people still trade for it. All right, let's grab this. We're probably getting to the point where he's going to be too heavy. So we might have to split. I'm going to have to get more bulls. No joke. Definitely. I might go up north again to the owl tribe and get a bunch more dogs and also reindeer. I'm thinking if we get some bull reindeers or something, that's probably as good. Not as good, but it'll be helpful. We can use those to carry stuff too. So, all right, there's the first shirt. I'm starting to think he might be full. Let's just put this on him and try it. Yeah, the last couple things he couldn't quite fit, but that's okay if we take a look at the bull. There he is. He's carrying quite a bit of stuff right there. Not bad. And like I said, it's pretty much the best of the best. So let's get another bull here, and I will push the remainder onto Buford. Like I said, we'll do a second pass starting from the bottom. So I'll go and I'll grab anything over a pound, and of course anything that's 1 pound or in that area, I'll kind of look at a little closer. Okay, well, I got all the extra little pieces. It wasn't much, just a few extras. Now I've come over to the pile of weapons here, and we're going to push all these onto the same animal. So now if we take a look at him, you can see he's carrying linen shirts all the way down at the top, linen shirts, woolen socks. Then at the bottom, he's got hunting bows and short bows on him. So he's kind of the mixed one. He's probably got a little bit more space on him too, but I think that's good enough. Remember, we've got 4 other villages to visit, essentially. I came to this one first, so we're headed to the south next, right there. And I think that one's got mainly scraps too, so it might be a quick, then we got to go there, and then back to home base, essentially. So we're going to leave this. What I will do is I will adjust the note here. Instead of saying loot, I'm going to say scraps. So we'll know if we need some repair stuff, or if I get real desperate for whatever reason, if we get like robbed. I don't know. I don't know why we would need to, but I just want to be extra thorough and clear, about what we've got. Plus, I did leave a few things that are kind of valuable, like pots. We could make extra, like recipes of food and stuff if we want. But anyway, so here's the other village I was saying. I think this is mainly scraps. If we look, I'm pretty sure I've already policed everything up. Yeah, I think it's all already inside here. Let's see. And there's an iron helm. That's not bad. I'm pretty sure there's no tools or weapons here. Just some skins. Yeah. So I see a couple things I want in the clothing. Let me just grab those real quick and we're on to the next one. Okay. We go from loot to scraps. There we go. And like I said, on to the next. Okay, well, here is the site of our battle at this village here. Let's zoom out a little bit. So we're kind of in the middle of our conquested area so far. This one, that's where we got our dogs. So we got one more stop after this current village, but let's see what's here. I've already done the work, and I've policed up all the stuff from the bodies. So these are just empty carcasses. They'll turn into bones at some point, and I'll be able to see real easily if I missed any, but pretty sure it's pretty clean there. So we've got another gold mine worth of stuff. This was a decent sized village right here for sure. I've got some tools stacked on top of this. I must have got a little bit confused because I've got tools and garments all in both piles, but that's okay. That's okay. I think I was just dropping stuff left and right. This one's okay. There's a scimitar there that's pretty big. Of course, we got the hand axes galore. So at this point, though, like I said, I'm getting low on bull space. So I'm going to have to start pushing them onto the dogs, which isn't a big deal. It's just for the sake of like making my life easier unloading. I do like to try and keep it all localized, but we'll deal with it. Okay, there's another village crossed off the list. Now check this out too. Just as I'm leaving, I noticed, oh, look at that, a glorious elk down there in the forest. I kind of miss the days when we actually needed to hunt and stuff, but for right now, we are loaded up with food. I've got even more food back at camp too. I've got tons of it. And of course, with all the loot that we have, we never really have to hunt again. We could just trade for our food constantly. And I could even get like the most glorious fishing nets you've ever seen, and we could just live off the lakes if we wanted. But we're in conquest mode right now. That's all this is about. If you want to witness survival at its finest, check out some of my earlier playthroughs. Right now, we're in conquest mode. So I think, like I said, we got one more to get to. All right, I'm carrying a lot of stuff now. I actually picked some of it up myself just to carry it, just because it was a little quicker than pushing it onto the different animals. So, but this one, we got a few dogs left who haven't really been touched. Let me make sure. It's always good when you're in enemy territory like this, if you are conquering yourself, make sure just check the map, check it again, check it 3 times, just to be extra careful. Because if you stumble into the wrong settlement while it's still occupied and you've only got a couple dogs and maybe a cow with you, you're going to be in trouble. So you don't want to do that, but we're fine. This is, like I said, the final stop here of our loot gathering phase. Let me see. Did I do myself a favor and get this all organized? I think I did. Yeah, okay, everybody here has been stripped. The houses have all been checked. And if we zoom in, I put them on this little hill right here. So all the loot is nicely stashed away. This was a big one, too. Look at all these. Man, this is all good. Everything here except for the clubs. And, like, I probably won't take the pots or the rope or anything. But, man, that is some good loot. There's freaking bastard sword here. We got a short sword, a scimitar at the top, a rough scimitar, a spear. You can literally trade like a spear for a bull. So man, oh man, we're doing okay right now. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just gonna start randomly selecting animals to push stuff onto and just see if they can handle it. Maybe we'll get lucky and do this real quick. I don't want the clubs, but we have not even looked at the pile of clothing yet. All right, so that fit all on the dog there. Of course, when we get back to the main camp, I'm going to be very careful and not mixing up the dogs until I unload the goods. Oh, yes, look at this list of items. So we've got the Lamier Curios, probably butchering that. That's 12 pounds, 13 pounds right there. We got a male hauberk. It's pretty damaged, but it's still almost 10 pounds of armor. Then down a little bit farther, we've also got a nice little woolen dress there. If any ladies would like to dress up, we've got a beautiful dress. It's just got a couple of holes in it from arrows. That's it. I also noticed that there was, like I said, an untouched couple of items right here. These kids just came from the buildings themselves after I looted the settlement. But there's a male cow right there. So this is primo. Iron helm. It's pretty well dinged up, but even the iron stuff like that will sell well. I mean, it can be like the final item that pushes over a deal, if they're holding out or something. So, all right, let me push it onto the animals and let's get out of here. Okay, we have marked the location as being fully looted. So let's head north, back home. Here we go. And let's see. Now, if we look at the very bottom of the screen, you can see we're on day 2 of the last week before summer season. So what that means to me is we're going to start going into exploration mode here. Essentially, what we need to do is get into their territory. I'm going to bring all my dogs with me, and if we happen to run into any adventurers, I'll hire them if possible. But we're not attacking, we're just going through. I want to get all this uncovered. So basically, I know where the location of every one of their settlements is. It's going to be key to being able to really plan out, to see if this is even possible. Because, I mean, we've still got to somehow try and root out these little satellite villages that they send out here, because there's going to be more of them, guarantee you. They set these up all over the place. So we've got a lot of work still to do, guys. Let's see here. So we have returned. Yep, we're back here at home. And you can see these bodies haven't been burned or anything. after our first initial like ceremonial burning, after the first one we took out, the first village, we're not really doing that anymore. It's more practical to keep them around for bones so that we can feed our dogs and stuff. Speaking of which, first thing I like to do when I return home is talk to my dogs, tell them they should all eat. Oh, they bark in disagreement. Some of them will do it, some of them won't, but it's good. They don't wait around now. Now, hopefully, they're all healed up and stuff. Also, I've tried to go through there and pull off any equipment that I randomly put on them throughout the journeys, but there might be a couple dogs in there who have some stuff on them too. But yeah, oh, he's still starved looking. That's all right. Starved is okay as long as they're not injured anymore. So I think what I'm going to do is separate the bulls and the dogs. It'll just make things easier. So let's put the dogs on this tree here real quick. All right, there we go. So now the bulls are tied to this one. The dogs are over here. Why are they? Oh, wait, are they tied up? Looks tied in place. Yeah, sometimes they'll stand a bit farther from the tree if there's a bunch of them around. But yeah, that's weird. There's not even that many there. Oh, well, no worries. So they're split, and we can easily kind of look at them, see what he's got on him and stuff. But I do have a few odds and ends here that I want to drop. So I've got a collection of ropes there. Do I have any furs on me? Yeah, I do. I've got some furs. 4 fox furs, 2 bear furs, a squirrel, and an elk fur. We are going to go out too at some point. Actually, when I go exploring, I might take one bull with me along with the dogs and just put all the furs on one of the bulls if it can handle it. We might have to take 2, but maybe I could put them on the dogs too. But that's more of a headache because you got to spread it out over a bunch of different dogs. But if we run into any of those foreign traders, man, we're going to be looking to outfit ourselves with some seriously good loot. Hopefully, we'll see. But all right, so we'll come over to this section. This is our clothing. I did pick up, like I said, a little bit of stuff myself there at the end. Got that iron helm that's all dinged up. All right, I brought some pots home. I'm going to put those here where I drop all my food stuff. And I've also got a spot for tools and cordage and stuff. So let's drop the ropes. Extra ropes are always good to have, just in case something happens. There we go. Okay, that's it. And up here, I've got a few extra tools on my person. Knives, axes, round shield, arrow, short bow. It's good to just take stock of just how rich we are. So this is everything. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I haven't even unloaded the animals. Oh, my gosh. I was about to say this is everything. But no, let me unload first, and then I'm going to dump it, and we're going to take a last look at what we've got. Okay, well, I've got everything sorted out. And for anybody out there who's watching and feels like I shouldn't have my stuff outside laying on the ground in the exposed weather, don't worry. I do have my food indoors. So the majority of the food we've got is right here, including this massive stack of smoked trouts here we've got, plus 43 dried trouts, plus the bag of food that I'm carrying around on me that we've been eating from here that's got another 8 pounds, but we've got tons of food, like I've said. Now, as for the real loot, all our dogs, all the bulls have been emptied. If you'll look in my inventory, I'm carrying around 40 broadhead arrows, but I've also separated out another 43 right here on the ground. Those are next to all the leashes for our dogs, which I dropped just for extra weight. But here's our furs, so we'll take a quick look. We've 7 fox furs, 3 elk furs right there, plus a few more, 4 bear furs, a couple of lynx furs. Those are probably extremely valuable right there, but that's looking good. Again, we're going to put those on a bull. And here is the clothing pile. This was from most of the villages, like everything that's really worth trading, and a few things, a few scraps here and there, probably from this village itself. But man, I mean, I wish it would be able to like separate it into metal and fur and wool. I've done that in previous playthroughs. Like I'll separate all the different categories for leather, from fur, from wool, from armor. But with this kind of a pile of stuff, there's over 200 items here. It says there's this little list plus 192 more. So, and most of this is good stuff. Like I said, you can look at the wear on it or just look at the weight category It's pretty huge. We got a few ropes here. There's a few odds and ends, but man, oh man. So this is our pile of weapons and tools. 104 arrows, 12 knives, 7 round shields, 11 hunting knives, 8 hand axes, 3 bastard swords. We got a masterwork carving and hunting bow, 7 woodsman's axes. We got spears, scimitars, 15 broadknives. Oh yeah, guys. So it's looking pretty good. We're okay. We're set. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the loot episode. Don't worry, we won't go over the spoils for every time we take out a village, but it does start to get a little redundant after a while because most of the stuff's going to be the same. We just get more of it. But man, oh man, I can't wait to get fully kitted out. I think the next stage during the summer, while we kind of wait for the winter again, is to replace all this rough clothing we've got with some of the good stuff that we can repair and get some excellent clothing going. But thank you so much for joining me, guys, for this episode and for the series as a whole. Hit that like button if you're enjoying it. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I hope you'll consider doing so. And I do have a Discord server, guys, if you'd like to join that and keep up to date on all my newest series or just chat about Unreal World or any of the other games that I play. Feel free to join that. The link is in the description. Also, a big shout out to my Patreon supporters, guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And guys, I will see you on the next one.